Sounds good.
Okay, we're recording. All right, guys, this is episode 2 of our little Zoom series we got going here. And tonight we have a special guest, Jon Manley, right over here. And we're going to go a little bit through the history of Broughton, and we're going to talk a little bit about Horace Dixon Mayhew, his death, and the kind of the circumstances around it, and conspiracy theories and whatnot and what have you. So anyway, Jon, take it away.
All right. Well, it's good because you say conspiracy theories. We're rife with those nowadays, but this is a little bit older than what's going on. So,
Yeah.
As you said, I'm going to just go through a little bit of the history of Broughton and then just some weird stuff that I found going through. So Broughton started in 1902 with Thomas Lancaster, and I think that he's probably the biggest mystery, but we will come back to that.
Yeah.
So he's from the UK. That's all we've really got on him. Comes to Nova Scotia, hooks up with two guys, Silas Townsend and George Japes. And they kind of go into the wilds of Nova Scotia looking for coal. They're not really successful until they're approached by Edgar Moseley, who's a barrister from Sydney, amateur geologist, and has a connection with people who own the land out of Broughton. So they find what they dubbed the Moseley seam and think that they've got something good and decide to try and get some money to go digging. So he returns to England in 1904, where he gets a whole bunch of people, politicians, miners, firms, investing firms, different things like that, to basically go behind this idea, give him approximately $2 million, which with inflation would equate to be about $56 million today.
That's a little bit of cash then.
Yeah, sight unseen.
Bit of money.
Wilds of Nova Scotia. Come on, everybody, let's go dig for coal.
Yeah.
So anyways, no expense was spared. Mayhew, Horace Mayhew Sr., had mining experience. So he wanted to go at this full bore. So he procured state-of-the-art mining equipment that wasn't even seen in Cape Breton at the time with the bigger coal companies like Dominion Coal Company, who we'll get back to in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But he also wanted to start this planned community, which would have been the first of its kind in North America. So he's got plans for the Grand Hotel and space for 12,000 people, just no expenses spared. By the summer of 1905, that $2 million is gone. The hotel is built, but they have no way of getting it off the property, because after they paid all this money for the land and equipment and the hotel and some of the miners' houses and some other buildings around the area, they had no way to get the coal out because of leasehold 188, which is a disputed piece of land with the Dominion Coal Company. So they were unable to get the coal to any shipping port and just basically could dig as much coal as they wanted, and they couldn't do anything with it.
Wow.
So he does everything in his power, Horace Mayhew Sr. does everything in his power to try and make this work. He goes to the city of Sydney. He makes a bunch of promises to them in exchange for tax exemption and all kinds of exemptions and subsidies. He goes to the province of Nova Scotia. He goes to different coal companies across the country, but nothing pans out. So he goes back to England in March of 1906. March of 1906. To try and straighten some things out, because he's already taken $2 million of his investors' money, started a new company, got another $2 million, and still can't do anything. So in May, Lancaster resigns in March. Sorry, that's what I was getting mixed up. Lancaster resigned in March. He returned to England in May, to Mayhew, and leaves his son in charge, because his son he trusts him. He's his eldest son.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of experience with the war, commanding units and everything like that. He might not have a lot of mining experience, kind of, from what I gather from my research, he's a hardy guy. He likes to hunt. He likes to fish. He likes to spend time in the wilderness. Spent a lot of time in like really terrible conditions during the Boer War.
Yeah.
So he's this hardened guy.
He's a tough guy.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, he's a tough guy. He's a
Yeah.
military guy.
Yeah.
Early 1900s. So
Yeah.
he's even
Yeah.
tougher
Yeah.
through
Early
inflation.
mobster.
Yeah. So, anyways, he all of a sudden, August 12th, 1906, he commits suicide.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Yeah.
sure he
Yeah.
did.
And this is why I'm
Yeah.
saying allegedly is not just because I want to I want to make this more exciting.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is that there are so many different recollections of his death or reports of his death. We've got the Cheshire Observer, which is his hometown's paper. And basically what that says, almost 3 weeks ago, intelligence was communicated to his home in this country that he was ill and obliged to leave Cape Breton for a month. He was then not regarded as being in serious condition, and subsequently his father received at Broughton Hall a letter from Dr. S.J. McLennan of Glace Bay, where the deceased was staying, which is also weird because it says that he died at Spencer's boarding house.
In Myra.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the deceased was saying that there was no need to be alarmed about his son's health as he was very much better and would make a complete recovery. On Monday morning, however, the sad message arrived by cable from Major Maddox of Sydney, an old friend of the family, that the captain had passed away. They didn't make any mention of him committing suicide. He had been suffering from acute rheumatic gout and insomnia. So there's that. There's also the Montreal Star says that he hung himself at the Broughton Arms Hotel. So they got part of it right, but not all of it.
Mhm.
And then a hunting accident, which I can't actually find the source for, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense because I don't know if this will show up backwards, but that is the headline from August 13th, 1906. And it says, Horace D. Mayhew suicided at Myra.
Myra.
This is
Yeah.
the post records of the time.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing about this is that, suicided at Myra, cut his throat at Spencer's while laboring under a fit of temporary insanity yesterday, had been ill sometime with rheumatic gout, inquest held.
Okay.
So the story is in the article that Timothy Spencer, who owned Spencer's with his uncle Charles, wakes up, hears somebody choking, goes to Horace Mayhew's room, sees him covered in blood, runs out, tries to get somebody, goes back, puts a compress over his throat, and then goes out again, comes back. Mayhew's up inspecting his gash in the mirror, which is odd enough.
Yeah.
You've done it yourself. Why are you
Mhm.
looking at it? Making sure you did the job right, like
Yeah.
shave.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got a nick there.
It's such a weird way to off yourself too by cutting your own throat.
Yeah,
Like,
cutting your own throat in bed too.
Yeah.
Because another article, this is the weirdest one too. The San Francisco Call, which is almost a tabloid from what I can gather, on Monday, August 13th, writes that Horace Dixon Mayhew, son of Horace Mayhew, committed suicide by cutting his throat before a looking glass at his apartment in Myra. They actually call it Moira, and they get it mixed up and call it New South Wales. But it's just
Close enough.
Just a paper.
Yeah.
And a tabloid at that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, he's inspecting this and they get him back into bed. James Hampton grabs the straight razor, which is by the bed, and takes it out of the room. But another thing that's weird about that, and this is a quote from the article, is that he he says, so they have an inquest. I'll get to that in a second.
Mm.
So I saw nothing that would indicate foul play. I saw a razor on the floor and I picked it up. I don't know whose razor it was.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not Mayhew's.
I just
Nobody
found
else-
this razor.
Yeah.
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 Razor in the room.
Yeah, look, a razor.
Moves it out of the way, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's very strange. And then they mentioned the razor never again.
Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
it's very odd.
Mhm.
The other thing is too that they continue to go on about his intense pain with rheumatic gout and the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
But they also mention, and this is another quote from the article, that intimates of were worried about something for about a week before his death. Then the night before, he was back to his usual self.
So he was worried about something?
He was worried about something, but it never says what. And I mean,
Yeah.
that could be any number of things. It could
Oh,
be
yeah.
his
The business.
gout. It could
Yeah.
be business. It could be,
Yeah.
but it's just weird that he takes this turn the night before.
Yeah.
Is there any mention of him feuding with anybody? Like
No, there's
he wasn't running around with someone else's wife, or he wasn't like I mean, it could be anything, right? Like
there's
at
a
this
lot
point.
of hearsay stuff, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in Eleanor Anderson's book, Broughton, the Cape Breton Ghost Town, Cape Breton's
Yeah.
Ghost Town. She mentions that he was pretty amicable. He was like hunting with people in the community. He was seen in the company of a guy named Faines, I believe it was his name, during the last couple of weeks of his life. That's another thing. If he's in such intense pain with gout,
Mhm.
why is he?
How are you hunting?
How are you
Yeah.
hunting through the
Yeah.
woods? You guys have been through to Broughton. Like, it's not a fun slog some days.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine it then when
Yeah.
there was no trails and no ATV
Yeah.
trails or anything.
Yeah.
Well, just
So-
today we went looking for the graveyard. Look how hard that was to
I
find.
know.
Oh,
I
We
mean,
almost
that was
died.
beyond,
We almost died bushwhacking across that giant field.
right? Yeah,
That-
I mean, it was
that was
just
actually the first time I went. I was with a friend, and I jumped up on a big log, and then I was like, "Just come over this with me," and I jumped off, and when I jumped, I picked back the log and opened up a bee's nest.
Oh,
Oh, no.
that's fun.
Kicked the bee's nest back at him. He ran around all the way. But yeah, none of it's easy to find. At my point.
No.
It's not an easy trek through
No.
wherever.
Yeah.
So, slogging through the woods and these bogs and lakes and everything like that
Yeah.
with such intense pain that you would commit suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Kind of
No.
weird.
It's,
And as for his funeral,
Mhm.
we don't know a whole lot about it though, do we? And it just seemed to oh yeah, he died. We're gonna bury him here, and that's the end of the story. Just kind of swept it under the rug, and there's no evidence, is there, of his father coming back from England for his funeral? Any of his family?
He actually said, father did not make
oh, we're losing you.
Yeah,
a word to inter him at Hardwood Hill. He just sent a cable back and said, bury him. 2 days later.
wow.
Why did they select
And then-
Hardwood Hill, I wonder, though, if there was
Yeah.
a graveyard in Broughton?
I don't know.
Seems strange, too, right?
But
It is.
Hardwood Hill, there's a lot of prominent members of
Yeah, could be that.
what
True.
Well,
Yeah.
think like there's a lot that are buried there. Maybe they just I don't know though, because I mean, if the father didn't care enough to come back, I mean,
Yeah.
his son's a decorated war veteran, like an upstanding guy, and everyone seemed to like him. And oh no, he's dead. Just bury him, and we'll just go on living our lives.
Yeah. I mean, he comes back,
Yeah,
but it's to deal with business and it's not right away.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm still actually looking because before his death, there's an article in the Post, and I have no idea what date. I just know it's after June of 1906 or 1905, sorry, where he talks about Broughton. And I want to see his own words, like how he felt about Broughton, because
Yeah.
my thing is that, and this is the second mystery besides Mayhew's death, which is huge, just a lot of strange things happening about that. and that was the other thing too. This is front page news, like takes up the entire page almost. His funeral, buried on page 3.
Little
That's
tiny
it.
write-up.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Little tiny write up.
Yeah.
I have it somewhere, but it's
Yeah.
it's maybe 5 or 6 lines long.
Wow. Yeah.
So just the weird end to a guy
Yeah.
who was decorated war
Mm.
hero. Well, not hero, but veteran.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Son of a prominent person who was going to bring about a lot of change in Sydney and surrounding area. And here we go. Nothing.
I'm going to step away for 1 second, okay?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
But that brings like up. It's not everything adds up, because just from the Sydney Post article,
Mhm.
there's so many weird things. And like I said, there was an inquest held, which was also very strange.
Yeah.
About an hour or 2 after his death, they get a couple of doctors and a couple of people that are living in the house together
Mhm.
to hold an inquest as to what they think happened.
Okay.
And they ruled it a suicide based on
Oh, we're losing you. You're breaking up, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the jury, which is what they called at the people at the inquest, after evaluating for a few minutes, returned with the following verdict: the deceased who is Stephen, who is death by a wound in the throat of a sharp instrument inflicted by himself while laboring under a fit of temporary insanity.
Okay.
Few minutes evaluation.
Yeah. And that's what they came up with.
That's what they came up with.
Yeah.
Is there any mention what his funeral was like? Was it like, was he buried with honors because he was a military vet? Was he, or was it just
Like I
quick
said, little write up, just saying basically it was held in Sydney today, interred at Hardwood Hill.
That's it.
Nothing really. I mean, I didn't. That's one thing I didn't print off. Just give me 1 second, though. I think I have it here somewhere on my computer.
So it was basically covered up as fast as they could cover it up.
It was crazy how fast
Yeah.
they decided that it was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Inquiry.
Yeah.
Suicide.
Yeah.
Buried.
Yeah. Forgot about it.
Let's move on, see if we can get Broughton working again.
Yeah.
And it's not
yeah.
like he was just a regular person. He was,
No, he was
You
a
know?
decorated war
he was
veteran.
well known in the
Yeah.
community and stuff. You would
Yeah.
think
I
Yeah.
mean,
there'd be more
yeah,
to it than that, right?
front
Came from a very
page of-
prominent family, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I don't know. It definitely raises a lot of questions. And I mean, again, it could just be shoddy reporting, because
Yeah.
like I said, we've got 5 different ways he died. I was looking through it today. I have a page in my book written, and it says the many deaths of Horace Mayhew.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like if they investigated it,
Mhm.
you can only die one way.
Yeah.
You could die 5 different ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
So
makes
he
no
was
sense.
Hung,
Hunting accident.
what was it?
Hunting accident, cut his own throat.
Cut his
Yeah.
own throat. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything. Like,
He did it all.
so is disease.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
make
all
any
there.
sense. It doesn't add up.
No.
Yeah. So anyways, but that brings me to just the weird second mystery is, like I said before, here's this guy, Thomas Lancaster, who started this whole thing, this whole
Mhm.
Broughton situation in 1902. He managed to get $2 million out of all of these prominent people and bring them to Cape Breton to dig for coal. Who is he that he has the clout to do that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
You can't find anything on him, eh?
Nope.
nothing. It's the
It's-
weirdest thing. I can't
Yeah.
find anything. Like
Yeah.
not even newspaper articles, even in the minutes of the when he resigned as vice president, vice president.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just
And I
Thomas
reached out.
Lancaster resigned today.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And now together. But I was talking to Pete Rendug, and he sent me to one of his buddies in the UK by the name of Paul Drake, and he's working on it now. And he found a Thomas Lancaster, but turned out not to be our Thomas Lancaster. But there was also 110,000 results for Thomas Lancaster in the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
The
needless.
biggest thing too is like, how are we going to know him when we find him? Because we have nothing to go on.
It's too bad his last name wasn't Mumbercat. There's only like 13 of us.
Well, Manley, there's 5 of us in Broughton.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't.
Murphy, there's 5 million.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
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 And we're either eating potatoes or drinking rum.
Yeah.
You were like, can you research my family? I'm like, okay, I can do this. Get my fingers cracked.
Just type in fiddly dee potatoes.
Yeah.
See where it takes you. But yeah, so Thomas Lancaster, birth records, no death records.
I'm just amazed that there's nothing about him. Like we can't find anything about him around where Mayhew would have been in the UK. And, I did the death record search in Nova Scotia to see if I could find him, but everybody there either didn't make sense date-wise or were born in Cape Breton, or Nova Scotia, I should say, and died in Nova Scotia. So it didn't make any sense because supposedly...
I Google searched him too. There's nothing. There's nothing on him.
You type in
luck.
Lancaster Broughton, and you get, a few articles that just mention that he was the vice president.
Yeah.
I think you get a hit from Eleanor's book.
Yeah.
And maybe 1 or 2 other things, but the rest of them are not him. In no way related to him. If you type in Thomas Lancaster mining, it comes up the same thing because that's what he was. That's what he was put into the articles and the books and everything about.
Mm-hmm.
But he was he a younger guy though, wasn't he?
I assume
that
he was, in his, I would say like 25 to 45, let's say.
Yeah. Okay.
But I have no way of. The only reason I think that is because he was bouncing back and forth across the ocean. He seemed to, I don't know, have a little bit more life in him than somebody who was like, he wouldn't be like Thomas Mayhew, who was, in his 60s at that point or something like that. I'm not saying anything against that, but just.
No, but back then 60 is old. Now 60 is like the new 40.
Exactly.
So it's different now, right?
And it's just weird that Horace.
Nothing.
Yeah. And there's so much on Horace Mayhew, right? Like Horace Mayhew.
Exactly.
He's the father. Here's his wife. Here's his second wife. Here's his ex-wife. Here's his cat's name. And Thomas Lancaster.
You can find pictures of their old house in Hawarden.
Yeah.
And the people the other people that gave money to Broughton, you can find out all about them because they were politicians and people of repute in the UK. So who was this guy who history has basically forgotten that he was able to go and do this?
Yeah, with no records of him coming or going or, he was here, had a bunch of money, didn't work out. He resigned.
And that was the other thing too.
Killed a guy and then left.
Killed Horace Dixon Mayhew and then left.
Yes. Well, if you look too, I did some research into like who put what into. So Mayhew put $719,000 into Broughton to start.
Wow.
And then we've got William Banson. My writing is terrible. Does 531,800.
Okay.
And then third is Thomas Lancaster with $250,000. Where did he get that money? Why is he third in line?
Yeah.
Where does he get all this money?
I wonder if he owed so much money that when he knew this was, sinking, he's like, the boat's sinking, and he could have changed his name. He could have went wherever.
Yep.
I mean,
started a new life somewheres.
Allegedly, just a theory.
But you would think somebody back then that had $250,000, you'd be able to find him. Like if you followed the money trail, right? Who is the guy that had $250,000? That's not like, chump change, especially back then.
No, that's not what I mean.
But I wonder, Doug, if he by the end of it, I wonder if he was broke.
Oh, probably.
Or if he had lots of money, like you said, Doug, he might have just went wherever and said, "All right, new life."
Yeah. After he killed the guy.
Yeah, after
wink, wink.
After he killed Horace Dixon Mayhew, allegedly.
Yeah. But he could have done anything. Like he could have just resigned. He could have been a very private person. He could have just went to New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Because
he could have.
Truly, all I've been doing is searching Nova Scotia because that's what I've got a little more access to.
Mm-hmm.
But
you could have been something as simple as that. He could have just went somewhere, not that PEI. Newfoundland. Anywhere,
Halifax.
Right? And just disappeared.
Halifax was bumping at the time. Maybe he ended up in Halifax.
Yep.
I wonder if we could search up that way for him.
Well, I did when I did the death record searches and stuff.
That would have come up. Yeah, that would have
came up because I did get
Yeah.
Hits from all around the province. But
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing about him.
It wouldn't be that easy anyway.
I wish it was.
I know. I know.
I have been,
yeah.
I have been like banging my head against a wall.
Yeah.
You won't find anything on Ancestry.com because if he didn't put it there himself, it won't be there.
Yeah. He sent his kit back
Jason
last week.
and I joked that he's going to come into the library someday and he's going to be like, I hear you've been looking for me.
I'll shave my beard off. He won't know who I am.
John will be at the desk someday and he'll look at the front door and there'll just be this guy going like this.
Yeah. He'll have a razor in his hand.
Yeah. Oh crap, he's here. Yeah. Yeah. Who are you?
One of my many enemies.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know where he went or what happened to him.
Yeah.
It's extreme.
But like I said too, I've been doing a lot of different research too, trying to, see where we could take this.
Mm-hmm.
And I found, records of the Spencer family.
Yeah.
And that'd be an interesting avenue to try and go down. I don't know what route it would take us, but they're all buried in a cemetery out in South Head. So
well, I talked to Eleanor and
what's that?
I talked to Eleanor.
Oh yeah.
And she said she knows the people that own the house where the Spencer house was. Obviously it's not there anymore.
Yep.
We know where it was.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of Eleanor sweet talking the owners to let us go back there with our gear and see, just, take a shot and just see if we find anything, right?
And I found out too that, remember I said that during that time, Lancaster was staying at a place, Martel Farm was Martel Farm rental in 1905.
Okay.
Martel's Farm was right next to the Spencer house.
Oh.
Because when Mayhew cut his throat, they went next door to the Martel Farm because there was a doctor staying there. So they went and grabbed him and came up the road, and so I don't know what's still standing on that property too. So
yeah, and we don't even know if Lancaster was staying there at the time when Mayhew died, do we?
Probably not, but I mean, so Lancaster was staying at the Martel Farms in 1905, and then apparently he moved into the Broughton Arms.
Oh.
After it was completed.
Okay.
And we don't know. And then he resigns in May of March of 1906.
Okay.
And,
Sorry to interrupt you. Did you guys get that notification about the Zoom call?
Yes.
Yeah, I just got one. I think might have got kicked.
No, it's still
recording.
It
Okay.
said, yeah,
Just
it
make
said
it.
we're good till 9. Wait now, or I'm sorry, 9:10. We got about 7 minutes left.
okay.
Okay, mine said, "Thank you for joining the Zoom call." This had a time limit. So,
Thanks for coming, Doug. See ya. Yeah. No, it popped up and said you've been gifted an extra 10 minutes, and then there's
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're good. We're
By
good
an
until-
anonymous donor named T. Lancaster.
Yeah. Honest to God.
Yeah. I got this invitation to go to the Spencer house.
Mhm.
But
yeah, I'm really interested in this. I'm gonna every spare minute that I've got.
we appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, don't spend too much time because we need you on other stuff too.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
and it's funny too because after all of the stuff that you've been posting about me, I've been getting a couple of people messaging me and saying, "Hey, can you help out with this?" And
oh, damn it, I gotta stop doing that, Doug.
Yeah, that's it.
I gotta stop that.
no,
We need them.
It's great because a lot of people don't realize that we can do that. And
Yeah.
we have the ability, like, I mean, you have the ability to come into the library and do that yourself. You can sit on the microfiche all day if you want to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Lots
awesome.
of great history there too. So.
Yeah. So, well, since we have about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. So what we're gonna do as soon as the snow's gone and we can get out again, we're gonna go. What do you think, John? We'll start at Hardwood Hill and.
Yeah, I would say that Hardwood Hill is a good place to start. Just because Mayhew is buried there, and we know that is his final resting place.
Yeah.
We can always try. I'm not the expert in this area, but like there might be some sort of residual energy or whatever surrounding because he would have had so much to do and so much. He spent a lot of time around Broughton, hunting, fishing, the whole 9 yards. And then I don't know if Eleanor could figure out something about the Spencer house. Like, I think that those are our 3 best locations if you guys are,
Eleanor's good to go. Eleanor's good to go, but she won't do it at nighttime. She told me that.
I don't blame her.
She's not going anywhere at nighttime.
And I'd like to do it before the mosquitoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So early spring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go to some different places. We'll go out to Broughton and we'll, Broughton Arms and the Crown Hotel and
I think that's a good idea, and I completely agree with Eleanor. We'll not go out there at night.
What's the fun in that?
Well, when we went out to the graveyard, we kept losing the GPS signal, and the sun was going down when I stumbled into the area where the graveyard is, and it's so isolated,
remote.
Oh yeah,
it's so remote, and the weirdest thing is that people were still being buried there, mid-century.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last one was in the 70s, wasn't it? Isn't that what we found out?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Like 74, I think it was, or 76 or something like that.
Yeah. But it's so just in the middle of nowheres, but also you can see, what Mayhew and the rest of the people saw when somebody was trying to sell them this great idea of this place, because it's a beautiful location.
Yeah.
Like, especially where the hotel would have been, overlooking the lake, and, just nice. It's far enough from the city, so it's, isolated, but it's also just a beautiful location. So
next time you go, though, if you walk that logging road the whole way and around, it's literally, you don't have to do any crazy bushwhacking at all.
We
just go right around the whole loop and right up the hill, and there's a graveyard. We walked out so easy compared to how we walked in. If you just follow that road the whole way, it goes right around the loop.
We found that out the hard way. That was awesome.
Well, we got to the end where it started to go, like more woodsy, and just turn directly right into the field there. But
Yeah.
I think
That's what
that-
we did.
Yeah, I think that that's a great idea. I think that like maybe I can come up with something else to add to it by then, and you know, I'll get I've got a few great people at the library helping me out too. And
Yep.
all very interested and all very on board with it. And so.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. I look forward to it. And even
Yeah.
doing different stuff, right? Like we were
Yep.
talking about something for Lumiere or something cool like that. We'll do it in the summer if
Definitely.
if we're able to, obviously.
Yep, for
But
sure.
yeah. But anyway, that's going to be just about it. I think we're going to get cut off here.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for
Appreciate
joining
it,
us, buddy.
You're
Anytime.
the best. And that's it for now, guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
See you later.
Okay, guys.